So 2 weeks back, I made a video. And this video was titled, What Spec Should You Play in PvP Next Patch? At the very beginning of the video, I said something that I'm going to play for you, okay? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Venruki video. In this one, we got a real banger for you here. We are going to be doing a tier list for 10.2, so you can stay up to date on all the latest World of Warcraft content, including what specs are completely overpowered. I couldn't say it better myself. I literally couldn't say it better myself. All right, so this is basically my best guess at what I thought was going to be OP. All right, so I have this list here, and it shows these specs, okay? So what I'm going to do now that I've actually played all day, every day since the patch came out is I'm going to change some of my rankings, okay? So here's the list that I had, and I'm going to go back and basically redo it, okay? So I'm going to go back, and we're going to do it again. Now that it's actually here, and now that I know how much you guys love tier lists, I feel like I want to give you a more accurate tier list, okay? Very important. We need accuracy, ladies and gentlemen. That is what it is all about, okay? I want to have the most accurate tier lists that we possibly can, and I have been playing a lot. Like I said, I've been playing a bunch of Warlock, I've been playing a bunch of Priest, been playing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, playing 2s, 3s, Battlegrounds, Soul Shovel, all that good stuff. And I have some insight on what I think is crazy, okay? So, as usual, we're going to add a tank column, okay? So I'm going to add a bottom row, add a row below. And this row is going to be called tanks. Yeah. And this is also going to be with the new patch notes in mind as well. Okay, so there's patch notes. We already know these changes are coming. If you guys haven't seen those, you can watch my previous video. We can put a link to it or whatever, and that'll go over all the upcoming changes of what I think is going to be even better. Okay, so without further ado, let's put the tanks where they belong in the tank specialization. Okay, so that's exactly where all these tanks are going to go. I don't want to think about them. Nobody does, so they're in the bin, which is exactly what we all want. Perfect. I'm missing one. Which one am I missing here? Druid. All right, cool. All right, so we can go through these specializations. What I'm going to do is just go through in order, okay? So I'm just going to start at the top left, work my way through. I'm going to tell you what I had it at and what it's at now, okay? So starting off, I had this at C, and I'm going to keep it at C. I haven't really fought too many Frost DKs, but I feel like they're really not good. Honestly, you could probably put it down to D. I might even demote it to D. Like Frost DK, you can run some cheesy shit, but for the most part, it's a pretty garbage spec. So I'm actually going to do all the DKs a favor because I know the DKs get mad at me when I put it at C. I'm going to put it at D. Frost is terrible. That's the way it is. Unholy Death Knight. So Unholy Death Knight I had at A, but I actually think I'm going to promote it to S because Unholy Death Knight got a ton of buffs. It got a ton of single target damage buffs. I think it's going to be... It was already really, really strong. And with basically no offset to these PvE changes, I think Unholy Decay is going to be absolutely wild. So 100% putting that at S. It got a promotion from A. Okay. Next up, we have Havoc Demon Hunter. My prediction was that Havoc Demon Hunter, after the rework, was going to be S tier. Now that I've actually played it a little bit, I have changed my mind, believe it or not. And the way I changed my mind is we're going to S plus God, okay? So actually this will be S. And then here, we're gonna rename this to SSJ S plus God Omega, okay? That's where Demon Hunters are gonna go. So Demon Hunter damage is the craziest thing I've ever seen. It's very strong. The only thing that keeps Demon Hunters in checks is rogues. So actually, that rogue would be a good pivot point because at the beginning of the patch, it was very interesting. Like as soon as the patch hit, what I was hearing is, oh yeah, sub's insane, ass is insane, but Outlaw still sucks. Well, it turns out that's bullshit. Outlaw is crazy and might even just be the best rogue spec. And a lot of the rogues that I trust, have been talking to me a little bit about it, and they say it's completely bananas. Like, unfair how good it is. Giga spec. So Outlaw, I'm going to put it at SSJ S plus God Omega. And then the other two rogue specs, I'm going to put it S. You know, I'm going to put them at S for now. They are subject to change, of course, but rogues after the rework, surprise, surprise, they're very good. So great. We have the two SSJ specs. They've actually been promoted. And I want you to keep in mind as well, my prediction for these specs. Actually, I'm going to put Asa down one. I'm going to put Asa's really, really crazy. It's super strong. But from what I've heard, the only struggle of an Asa rogue is it can die. The other two rogue specs can't die. Asa rogue can die, allegedly. So I'll put it at A, but I do think it's like border. It's like A plus border S. Yeah, this is what we have for this so far. Next up, Boomkin. Boomkin, I had it at A, and I think I feel comfortable leaving it there. I haven't seen anything that makes me believe that Boomkin is better than A at this point, so we'll leave it there. I talked to Supatees. He said that he likes the spec. He thinks it's good. He thinks it's about the same. Great. Feral Druid, similar boat. I had it at A, keeping it at A after playing it. So yep, Feral didn't really get a move in the power play. Resto Druids definitely going up there in the S tier. That's what I had it at. And that's what we'll keep it at after playing. Resto Druid is really strong. I've seen a lot of Druids. What's interesting to me about Resto Druids is I'm starting to see more and more Druids weave in balance form and actually casting Wraths to regen their mana and assist with damage. So I'm curious to see if we're going to actually see Resto Druids be able to, you know, assist in damage, similar to like how a Disc Priest does, and maintain their mana. And I'm curious if we'll see it, and if like Resto Druid Wizard Cleaves are going to be even better because of it. Okay, Devastation Evoker I had at C tier. I'm actually going to promote it. So a lot of my friends, after playing Devastation, say the mastery changes feel really good. So if you don't know what happened with Dev, basically they nerfed their mastery and they nerfed our mastery and then allowed it, you to get a lot more. Well, they just gave you more damage, nerfed the mastery, so you can basically do similar damage, but you can play other secondary stats like haste, which feel a lot better. So I'm actually going to promote Devastation. I think in terms of like solo shuffle and the battlegrounds, Devastation might actually be like closer to A. But for threes, it's not that good. So I'm going to promote it from C to B, but that's where it's staying. Preservation Evoker. I haven't really fought that much, so I don't have much data to go on. I'm going to keep it at A for the time being. Beast Mastery Hunter. Beast Mastery Hunter I had at B tier. That's a complete sham. That's bullshit. Beast Mastery Hunter is not B tier. Beast Mastery Hunter might be one of the best specs that I've fought so far. I swear nobody's talking about it, but it is absurd. For some reason, I don't know what exactly happened, but as a Beast Mastery Hunter, you just summon 1 billion pets. You have more pets than a Demonology Warlock, and apparently your tier lets you summon even more pets, and those pets literally just one-shot all game. So I'm actually going to put BM up to S tier. I think it's like the sleeper spec right now that nobody's talking about. I'm going to promote it from B to S. I think it's actually incredibly good. So you guys will see. You're going to find out. Survival Hunter was at A. I'll leave it at A. Marksmanship Hunter, I think I will leave it at A for now. There's a part of me that wants to make it S because I know once tier lands, it is going to be S. But for the time being, I'll leave it at A. I'm feeling more of like an A+, but I'll leave it here for now. I don't want to get too crazy, okay? Arcane Mage, I had it at S. I'm going to keep it at S. I don't want to be biased. I think Arcane Mage is very strong. Mages in general didn't really get much changes. The only mage spec that's going to be worst is Frost, but Fire and Arcane with their tier are going to be even better. So I'm going to put Arcane at S tier. I want to put Fire at S tier as well. Maybe A tier. I'm going to put it at A tier. It's A+. Like, Fire is A+. Fire is very good. Fire is very fucking good. You could maybe put it in S tier. It could maybe be S tier. I'm going to be a bit conservative with the Fire Mage for now. I don't... I'll put Fire at S tier, and I'll just eat my words. I'll put Frost at A. I'm going to put Frost at B. I'm going to demote it. Demoting Frost a little bit. I'm going to buff Fire and a buff Arcane. There we go. All right. Those are where the 3 mage specs are going, in my opinion. In solo shuffle specifically, I think Frost is probably still going to be A, but I will have to wait and see. Punch monks are really strong. I'm going to put them at S tier. I'm just gonna when I think about monks, I'm just gonna put punch monk. Like, I'm gonna put their best spec is punch. I think if you can play both caster and punch, so you're even better off. But if you're just gonna play punch, S tier. Windwalker monks, I'm gonna leave them where they are at A tier. Yeah, I'm gonna leave them that they are at A tier. But it does, yeah, I'll put them there. Frick it. Holy Paladins. So Holy Paladins are interesting. As it stands right now, every time I play the Holy Paladin, they just go really fast. Like, anytime I play 2s, like, let's say I'm playing 2s against, like, a Resto Druid or a Disc Priest, my Paladin is and the Resto Druid is 70% mana every game. Like, Paladins just go after 2 minutes. I don't know exactly what happened, but I haven't really been able to... I haven't seen a Paladin that can sustain his mana longer than, like, 2 or 3 minutes. So I'm going to actually put Holy Paladins down to B tier. I don't know if they're going to get any changes, but I heard they're bad in PvE too, so there is hope. Disc I had at S tier. I think I'm going to put Disc at A. I think. Should I put Disc at S? What do you guys think? Is Disc on the level of Resto Druid and Punch Monk? You think Disc is S Omega? Okay, I'll put it at S. I definitely don't think it's better than Resto Druid. I 100% don't think that Disc is better than Resto Druid. You guys will not convince me otherwise after playing. Disc is a lot better than Fist. I don't know if that's true either. I don't know if I agree with that. Rep Paladins, what did I have Rets at? Rep Paladins I had at S tier, and they're actually getting buffed. So luckily for them, Rets are going to be very strong. We'll put them over here. I think Arms Warrior is another one of those that I said was S tier. I think it is going to be S tier. Should be good. We can put Resto Druid at SSJ, S+, God, Omega, if you guys want. I'm actually perfectly fine with that. I feel like I've been convinced that Resto Druids are up there, so we'll keep Resto Druids at SSJ plus God, Omega for now. Just nice and conservative. It's a good little switch. Shadow Priests, have them at A tier. Haven't really heard too much. Haven't really fought them that much. They seem okay. I'll leave them at A tier. I'm not going to mess around too much. Elite Shamans actually seem really strong. I don't even know what happened to Elite Shaman, but it seems like their damage is even higher somehow. So I'll leave it at A. I had it at A. I'll leave it at A, but I'm debating S. I think Elite Shaman's going to be a really solid pick. Fury Warrior seems garbo. So I'm gonna put it at B tier. It could be A actually. I'll put it at A tier. I think it's a tier below. I don't think it's that bad. I don't want to call it garbage, but yeah, we'll leave it there. Enhancement Shaman, we'll put that at B tier. I think it's okay. One shot you. Restoration Shaman I had at B tier. I'm actually gonna promote Resto Shaman. I think the buffs to Resto Shaman were solid, so I'm going to put Resto Shaman up to A tier. I think it's going to have some really solid comps. The buffs were decent. Yeah, then that leaves us with the 3 Warlock specializations. I think all 3 Warlock specializations are going to be S tier. My own personal experience, Affliction. Yeah, Affliction is really good. Affliction's really good. Demo's really good. Destro's really good. This is like, Warlocks are going to be very good. There is a possibility that Destro with tier gets promoted to SSJ, S+, oh God, Omega. Because Destro Warlock tier basically just makes it so you get a bunch more portals. And they recently buffed all the portals. So all the portals got buffed. Your tier makes it so you just poop out portals. If you guys don't know what the dimensional rifts are, they're the little portals that spawn that channel on you through any amount of range. You could be 1,000 yards away, they channel on you, and they shoot through pillars. So I feel like if they get lucky with portal resets, it's just unavoidable, un-LOSable, unhealable dam, which is going to be really strong. So we'll see how that goes. But for now, I'll put Destro at S with tier. They could get promoted. And then we don't actually have augmentation here. For some reason, we don't have augmentation on this list. So that's one we're missing. But we will put aug. We'll put aug. Here. Just really quick. I'll put this. Go to paint. And yeah, I'm going to put... I think aug actually did get some nerfs. I do hate aug, but it did get some nerfs. So we'll put a nice little... This is for aug. A is for aug. There, A is for aug evoker. Okay. Aug. Looks like a Scrabble piece. So this is the aug evoker. It's a dragon. I have it at S tier right now. It's getting nerfed. I don't know if the nerfs are enough to move it from S tier. I still think it's going to be really good. This, ladies and gentlemen, is my updated tier list. So if you guys are looking at this and you want to know if your spec is good, this is an honest and real tier list. Okay? You want the most honest and most real tier lists, this is what you're looking at. Okay? This is what you're looking at. Enjoy it, ladies and gentlemen. That's a lot of good specs. It is a lot of good specs, yep. A lot of really, really, really good specs. You know, some bad specs, of course. Some bad specs, of course, but, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. I'd lower Frost Mage one more. I think it's going to be pure Rhea Frost one-shot, and if people trade a CD, they'll never die. I think just because Frost will still be good in Shuffle, I have to be honest. Like, if this was a 3v3 tier list, I'd put Frost B, maybe C. I'd put Evoker lower too, but if you want to, like, if you want to talk about Battlegrounds and you want to talk about just the game overall, I think Frost can still survive in Shuffle with dampening. I think it'll be decent. So, this is it. This is the tier list. This is the update, all right? I think I got most of these right. So just, we can actually look at what I had and what it is now. So obviously some specs have been promoted to SSJ God. I couldn't have anticipated how OP they are, but here we are. They are very, very, very good. Devastation Evoker to me was one that kind of blew me away. Beastmastery Hunter to me is one that kind of blew me away. Devastation, like I said, better than I thought. Paladins, maybe weaker than I thought, but we'll see what ends up happening. And yeah, Ben, you're being too nice. That's too many. This many specs shouldn't be S tier. No, I think I feel very confident calling these specs. Well, like, let me ask you a question, kind sir, in the chat. Which one of these specs do you think is not S tier? Like, which one of these specs do you think shouldn't be S tier? Affliction? I've played a lot of Affliction. It is good. I've played a lot of Affliction. I think it's good. Trust me. It's not even just what happened to Affliction, but also the fact that Hunters can't feign your dots and Priests can't dispel your dots. It puts you in a really, really, really good spot. I promise you. LOL, you play Affliction into a lot of 450 item level boys? Listen, man. If you're an Affliction Warlock right now, and you're really struggling, and you think Affliction's not good, you just gotta learn to play. A little bit. I'm sorry. Demo's S+. So, Demo, I'm gonna keep it at S. The reason why I don't put Demo to S+ Omega God is because of roots. But it could be. There is a possibility that Demo is Omega S+ God tier.